Okay, so if you've been anywhere online recently, you've seen the headlines, right? AI is coming for our jobs. And, it can feel a little intense, even scary. It really got me thinking, what is actually going on here? So I decided to dig in, to really try and understand this whole transformation, not just by looking at the future, but by going way, way back. All right, let's get into it.
And that feeling? It's not just in our heads. The research is filled with phrases just like this one. It's acknowledging that real, widespread anxiety that so many of us are feeling. Yeah, this isn't some sci-fi movie anymore. It's a very real conversation happening all over the world about what comes next.
And this fear, well, it's already starting to show up in the data. This number, 16%, it basically means that for young workers just starting out in fields that are really exposed to AI, there's been a 16% drop in employment. This isn't some far-off prediction, you guys. This is happening right now.
And we're not just talking about entry-level jobs either. Big reports, like this one from Goldman Sachs, are suggesting that the scale of this change could be absolutely massive. I mean, potentially reshaping a quarter of all the work hours in the entire economy. This isn't just a small shift. It's a potential revolution in the very idea of how we work.
So, to really wrap our heads around what AI means for the future of jobs, we need to zoom out and look at the whole story. We've seen what's happening now, but to really get it, we're going to travel back in time. We're going to find out where this whole idea of a job even came from in the first place. Then we'll look at the rise of factories, the fight for workers' rights, and how our economy has evolved. And then we'll bring it all back to today to tackle that big question: what's next?
Let's start with a question that seems simple, but is actually pretty wild when you think about it. What is a job? We think of it as this permanent, universal thing. But the way we see work today, it's actually incredibly new.
Just look at this timeline. For tens of thousands of years, humanity got by through hunting, gathering, and farming. The whole idea of work as the separate thing you get paid for, something you commute to, what we call a job, that only really popped up in the last few hundred years. It's just a tiny, tiny sliver of human history.
And this really shows you how different things used to be. For most of history, work and life were completely intertwined. You worked to live, and your home was your workplace. The idea of waking up, getting dressed, and traveling to an office or a factory for a paycheck, that was a totally revolutionary concept.
So, what happened? What caused this massive invention? Well, the answer is pretty clear: the Industrial Revolution. This was the moment that machines didn't just change how we worked, they literally created the modern job itself. This was really the first great disruption of work. People left their farms and flooded into cities. The very nature of what it meant to labor changed completely. But here's the really crucial part. While some old ways of working disappeared, the number of new, specialized job titles absolutely exploded. I mean, think about that. From about 800 different jobs to over 6,000 in less than a century. Disruption also created a ton of new opportunities.
But this explosion of new jobs definitely came at a price. The factory system created unbelievable wealth, but it also led to some really harsh, often super dangerous working conditions. And that set the stage for the next big chapter in our story, the fight for a much fairer deal for workers.
The 40-hour work week, the weekend, getting paid extra for overtime, a minimum wage. All these things feel so standard to us today, but they were not just given to us. They were won. They were won through decades of struggles, strikes, and landmark laws like the Fair Labor Standards Act. This timeline really shows the building blocks of the workplace we all take for granted today.
But this progress, it was never a sure thing. Even big supporters of labor reform had their doubts. I mean, get this quote from President Franklin D. Roosevelt. In 1937, he was actually arguing against collective bargaining for government employees. It just shows you how complex and debated all of these ideas were, even as they were happening.
So as we were building a fairer workplace, the economy itself was changing yet again. The age of the factory started to give way to a new era, one that was less about making physical things and more about providing services and sharing ideas. And to help us understand this evolution, economists have this really useful framework of economic sectors. Think of it like this. First, we were pulling stuff out of the ground, farming, mining. Then we started building things with that stuff in factories. After that, we moved into the service industry, retail, banking, healthcare. And now we're deep in the information age, with jobs in IT and research. And at the very top, you've got the big decision makers who steer the whole ship. Each step on this ladder has taken us from an economy of muscle to an economy of mind.
Which brings us right back to today.
With all of this history in our back pocket, we can look at the rise of AI not as some random scary event, but as the next great shift in this long, long story of how we work.
So now let's look at that data again. This is where it all comes full circle. In those jobs that are really exposed to AI, employment for young workers has dropped by 6%, but it has actually grown by over 7% for their more experienced colleagues. This really makes young workers the canaries in the coal mine, right? They're giving us that early signal of where AI is hitting the hardest and the fastest.
So the huge question is why? Why is this happening? Well, the research points to a really key distinction. When AI is used for automation, basically to replace a human task, that's when we see job numbers go down. But when it's used for augmentation, to help a person do their job better, faster, or smarter, we can actually see employment go up. The impact of AI really depends on how we decide to use it.
So, where do we go from here? Well, both history and the data kind of show us the path. Just like in the Industrial Revolution, we have to adapt. That means retraining people for new kinds of roles, building a safety net for those who get displaced, and really focusing our education on the skills that make us uniquely human, things like creativity, social intelligence, and critical thinking. And this isn't something one company or one government can do alone. It's got to be a team effort.
And, ultimately, this brings us to one last, really powerful question. History shows us that these huge technological shifts, even though they're disruptive, can also lead to some incredible improvements in our lives. The fight for fairness during the industrial age gave us the weekend. So as we stand here at the dawn of this new age, the real challenge isn't just about what jobs we might lose. It's about what new possibilities we might gain. What are we going to fight for this time?